What's up, YouTube? Adam Grover coming back at you. Another video. So I finally got the LS on the stand. Started pulling it apart. It's not completely apart. However, I pulled all the main caps, pulled the rod caps. Not the most beautiful. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I don't know. Let me flip this camera around. There you go. You can see copper material through the bearing. This isn't even... It's not good, but it's not terrible. So, I mean, I feel a little bit with my fingernail, but it's not like a deep groove where it catches. You know, I can run my fingernail across it and, So, it's... Granted, it's going to end up with new bearings in it, most likely. New bearings, new rings. However, the main issue here, piston looks good. There it is. Broke the bottom of the piston. Now, ring is right there. This might actually got turned. I thought it was closer to the edge, but this was hanging out, and I ended up pushing it all back. But this, you can see, if the phone will focus, you can see where it's overlapping. Wheel ring. Now I have a theory on why this broke the way it did. When I got the car, it had the truck intake on it. Trying to figure out a good spot to put this phone. Had the truck intake on it with these aluminum valve covers. That's the valve cover I bought years ago, back in 2020, and I put this rubber grommet, forced it in there so that way I could put a breather. I could put a breather on that valve cover so it would vent, because it was carbureted setup. So when I got this car, so the valve covers on it, had the lid, on the oil cap, on the valve cover. So I'm like, all right, must have some type of ventilation somewhere, or, this guy, he knows what he's doing, and he does. But the cap, as soon as I took the car up the street to Lowe's, I went to get a, see if I can set this phone right here, if it'll stay. Don't want to stay, of course not. I went to get a vacuum or something from Lowe's with the car, and when I got back, I noticed that the oil cap was missing. There's oil all over the tire on the front, and all over the shocks and springs, and it's a mess. So, not crazy, but enough to make you go, it needs something on it. So, I had the cap off of this valve cover. It was sitting on my press. It's been there since 2020. So I grabbed that, and honestly, I might have had these since 2019, to be honest. Anyway, doesn't matter. So I grab the cap and I throw it on the car and I tighten it down, thinking nothing of it. So, I drive the car, no issues. Step into it, no issues. On the way from, I went to a restaurant with the car to meet my friend. and from that restaurant on the way to the road, it started smoking. So I'm like, maybe that cap needs to be vented. So I'll loosen it. Hopefully, it gives it enough ventilation. But whatever is what it is. Started up, it's still smoking. I'm like, well, if it's blown up, then I guess it's done. So screw it. See how at least get something out of this deal. I didn't just come out here for nothing. So I make the test pass with it. Car did fairly decent considering it was the very first test pass I've made with it. But when I turn around, the car's it's vibrating real bad. Obviously still smoking. I get back, shut the car off, I start looking some stuff over. There's oil leaking out of the crevices on this thing all over the place. And I started up. I'm like, maybe something weird. So I started up again so my buddy can hear it, and it's done. Same deal, vibrating real bad. Now it's starting to make noise. Sounds like it's knocking. So I'm like, all right, get it towed home, and that's it. Be good, So here we are, ripped it apart, broken piston on the oil, under the oil control ring. So I think it's from crankcase pressure. That's my theory. It's the only thing that really makes sense to me. If you've guys seen this before and you have an idea of what it could be, feel free to put it down in the comments, because I'm curious as to what other people think. The only thing I can come up with is lack of ventilation. Built too much crankcase pressure and it relieved itself, and that was just the weakest part, I guess. So other than that, I can't think of another, unless it's ring gap on the oil control ring, which I know of people who don't even gap it. They slap them in and send it. But maybe that was the case here. Maybe something happened where it expanded too much, which is weird that it didn't break anywhere else. If that's the case, that's why it doesn't really make sense to me. But maybe because they're thinner, I don't know. So this is the stuff that's going through my mind. I just can't see it. I can't see it coming from the top. I see something pushing from the bottom. That's why I think crankcase pressure. There was oil through the heads to the point where the heads were they're still saturated in oil. On this cylinder and the one behind it. 1, 3. So cylinder 5, cylinder 7. Motor's upside down, obviously, so messed me up a little bit. But so 5 and 7 had a lot of oil. I thought when I pulled 7 apart I'd find something broke. 7 looks okay. So it kind of throws me for a loop there. So I don't know how oil's getting into, unless it's going all the way back up through the intake and down through cylinder 7. Possibility. Inertia, car pushing back. Maybe when it was blowing it out, it just put that much oil back in the intake and it all just went back from air coming in. And I don't know. That's a long way to go, though. Truck intake, that's very long. They got long runners, so I don't. However, it's engines. They do stuff that sometimes we can't figure out, I guess. But that's it. So if you guys have any idea why that piston broke in that area, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. And if you like this stuff, like and subscribe. And drop a comment below. Let me Let me know what you guys think this could be. Interested to see what your thoughts are. So, being said, thanks for watching, and until next time, guys. Catch you guys on the next one.